here at the Frugal Crafter, and my kids just got rainbow looms for Christmas. They got a couple. They got the Fun Loom and the Rainbow Loom brand, and it doesn't really matter what kind you got because you can do the same techniques on pretty much all of them. And today I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to do a couple videos today showing you different projects you can make with your looms, but the first one is going to be the basic chain. Now my preference is actually to do that with the crochet hook that comes in your loom, or any crochet hook. You don't even need to buy the loom. If you just have the bands, that's all you really need. So to begin, I'm going to grab a color that's going to show up a little bit better. Take a loop, okay, and fold it in half. Then take those two little ends, see that? I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. Take those two little ends, and you want to thread on a C-clip. These are tiny little, they look like the letter C. Sometimes they look like a letter S depending on what brand you have. They both work. You just want to pop those two little loops right in there. And then you may want to use a crochet hook, and I even know some kids use a pencil or even just their fingers. My children actually don't really like to use the hook that much. They'll just use their fingers. But I think it's easier to put a crochet hook in there. This one came with a Fun Loom. And then I'm just going to pull through another band. Now I prefer this method to making this on the loom, and I'll show you why in a minute when I show you the loom, because you don't end up with that weird big loop at the end. Alright, and you just keep picking up your bands and pulling it through. And some of the packages of bands the kids got for Christmas in their Christmas stocking actually came with a little hook. They came with these. So that was really cool because you could get everything you needed. And I think I've seen those at AC Moore and Joann's. I'm not sure where Santa Claus shops, but I know that that AC Moore had some with the hooks right in them. I would avoid the ones at the dollar store because they tend to be really big loops, and you really want these smaller loops because that gives you that, you can use them on the loom or you can just use them by themselves. But look at that. So you get a very nice, neat little chain that way. So that's my preferred method for making this. However, if you want to do it on the loom, which you might want to try one of these on the loom just because it's a great way to get used to using your loom. You want to just, you want to start off, if you're using the rainbow loom, I'll show you, it's got an arrow on it. Okay, if you're using the rainbow loom, you want to start with the arrow pointing away from you, like that. I prefer the rainbow loom to the other looms, but this one's easier to see, this Fun Loom, so I'm actually going to demonstrate on this. So I want to zoom in enough that you can kind of see what I'm doing. There we go. Alright, so if you want to do this on the loom, you want to start with the little C's pointing away from you. I'm over here, hello, hello, this is me, and that is away from me. So I've got the little C's pointing away from me, and you just want to layer them like this. I would try not, you actually don't want to get the rubber bands too far to the bottom, because with this particular loom, they're kind of hard to retrieve. The rainbow loom's a little bit easier to work with. And I would suggest using a multicolor design to begin with, because you will, it'll be a lot easier when you go to take these off. And I'm not really paying too much attention to the pattern because I'm not going to keep this one because I don't really like the way these single strand bracelets look when I do them on the loom. Alright, so you would go the whole length of the loom, and that would make a bracelet for anybody, for an adult or a child. It would definitely be big enough for an adult, okay? Whatever brand you have. Doing the zigzag, you could do the same thing going, you know, right in a straight row, but it wouldn't be long enough, so that's why you do the zigzag. Now, the only thing to think about when you're doing this is that you want the, you're pulling loops through other loops. So we're going to turn this around because that's what you have to do. And now you see that the little C-shaped things, the little cavities there are facing you. So what you do is you reach in with your hook and you pick up the bottom loop, and you bring it over the next peg. So I'm reaching in, picking up the bottom loop, which is the green one, and I'm bringing it over to the next peg. Here I'm going to pick up the black loop here, because that's the next one in the sequence, and I'm bringing it over the next peg. And so this is making that chain, but you can see right here we're going to have this big loop at the beginning, and that's why I prefer doing the crochet hook method for making a single chain bracelet. But this is also a really great way to begin just getting an understanding of how your loom works, because I didn't really understand it until I just sat down and played with it. There we go. And it is fun. It's a really fun craft to do. Alright, so when you get to the end, of course yours would be longer because you'd be making one for your hand, and I'm just making this for an example. pull off that first one carefully and stick your finger right in there. Actually stick 2 fingers in while you're at it. And you need a little C-clamp, oh, what do you want to call it, a C-clasp? And you're just going to push that right in there so you get both of those little ends. And then you're just going to pull it right off. Look at that. This first one is already locked in. And then you just want to put that through there. Now this is more of a ring size than a bracelet, but it shows you the idea. You just continue on and make it as long as you want. All right, so that's your basics. I'll be back with another video showing you how to make this bracelet next. Okay, that's going to be a lot of fun. So give me a thumbs up and subscribe, like my channel, and you'll get an email every time I send a new video out, so you won't miss anything. So next up will be this one. Make sure you stay tuned. Happy crafting!